Welcome to The Cauldron, a podcast hosted by Ed Bolden-Greer, the creator of Vail. In each episode, Ed will have free-flowing conversations about horror, life, culture, and personal growth. Expect to hear from storytellers, authors, horror experts, life gurus, thought leaders, and influencers. The Cauldron is a place where concoctions of a lot of ideas are brewed down to potions that are sometimes important and useful, sometimes eccentric and bizarre, but always just what you need. The Cauldron podcast may contain explicit language and thematic elements not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back to the Vail Cauldron podcast, where the whispers of ancient wisdom mingle with the warmth of our community as we gather around the mystical flames. Here in this sanctuary of sorcery, we stoke the embers of curiosity and ignite the fires of imagination. I'm your host, Ed Bolden-Greer, and I'm joined by the brave conjurer of curiosity, my co-host, Jacob Garner, a.k.a. Frady Cat.
Hello, everyone.
Together, we'll brew up a concoction of topics that resonate with the soul and spark the imagination. So, as the cauldron simmers, sit back, relax, and let the magic unfold.
In today's episode of the Vail Cauldron podcast, we're piercing through the veil to explore what's happening in the world. We'll dive into your questions, share personal updates, and discuss the latest global events. Join us for a relaxed, engaging conversation that feels just like chatting with an old friend. Don't miss out on this opportunity to be part of the conversation and stay updated with everything that's going on.
Hey, Jacob. How you doing, man?
Fantastic. Had a delicious sub for lunch today.
They were absolutely delicious.
That new coffee you brewed up for me today, it's actually pretty damn good.
I brew it up in the cauldron, you know. Oh, it's been a week.
God, dude, we've had back-to-back weeks.
Back-to-back weeks.
Jesus.
Just kind of crazy.
How was Greenville, by the way?
Oh, it was fantastic. Now, Jared would probably tell you a different story, but I hate riding or driving in the rain on the interstate.
God, dude.
I hate it. And so it felt like it rained the entire way up there. But once we got there,
yeah,
it was just glorious. It had rained there the night before, and it was cooler than it normally would be, in Greenville, South Carolina. And so
it's like a little bit up north-ish versus
it's towards
like
the
we're
beach area.
Okay.
Yeah. But we were there for a wedding shower, and shout out to Ryan and Bailey.
Can't
wait till October till their nuptials, and we just had a great time.
That's amazing. How's your shoulder doing, by the way?
Well, I get my stitches out tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that some of the little stingy pain that's happening is because of the sutures needing to come out. Not really had any problems with it outside of the muscle being sore.
Yeah.
And probably needing to do a little rehab on it once we get the sutures out. But I think it's going to be good as new.
I just want to tell the listeners real quick before we started to record. Ed randomly grabbed a tape measure. And I'm like, what the fuck are we measuring? He extended it, locked it into place, and then used it to scratch his back.
Hey, when you can't move your shoulder, you do a lot of weird things to get your back scratched.
Dude, I thought that was so funny.
Ingenuity. So I really need to tell this story about you, Jacob.
Which one this time?
Well, I might have several. First, before we dive into that, let's all just remember that we have a paranormal investigation coming up really soon.
Really soon.
That Jacob's going to be participating in, and we can't wait. You're excited, aren't you, Jacob?
Oh, man, just counting it down.
So the story that I have for you today involves Jacob and his scrub pants. So, as you know...
Oh, God, wait. I know exactly what you're about to say.
So, we were having lunch with our management staff yesterday, and Jacob was asking for new scrubs. He had actually gone to our coworker, Deborah, who's in charge of the clinic, and asked for more scrubs. And she had said, why? And he said, I have a hole in the knee. I have a hole coming in the knee of my scrubs.
Dude, the look on her face. And my exact words were, I'm wearing a hole in the knees.
Yes. And she looked at him, and they didn't have to really exchange words. It was just like, you should stay off your knees.
It was like,
I mean, you wear out the knees of your pants at home.
Here's what I'm trying to say. All right. When I am working on a client's feet, okay, for the listeners who probably don't know this, I'm a massage therapist, okay? So instead of sitting on a stool, I will kneel on the hardwood floors on my knees to massage the feet so my body mechanics are good. And I'm wearing a hole in the knees of my pants, and I notice this. And then as I'm trying to explain to everybody yesterday, I was talking to the other therapists in the room, and I was like, guys, back me up on this. You guys get on your knees to work on the feet, right? And everybody was like, no, I don't do that. I sit in a store. I squat. And I just knee-jerk said, look, I just feel the most comfortable on my knees, okay?
Now, to be real clear, Jacob, outside of work, feels very comfortable on his knees.
Feels like home. I do need those scrub pants. So, Deborah, if you're listening, I need them, all right? I'm working so hard, Ed. I'm tearing through the scrubs.
In other stories,
did you spell this cereal as in like Kellogg's cereal?
on purpose.
Okay.
So he's looking at our outline. I put it on there because as we were discussing topics today, Jacob wanted to talk about a serial killer, and he's going to here in a second. But we were talking about jokes and people turning jokes into the brew and stuff like that, and so without a beat, you would have to listen to some of our conversations, but without missing a beat, he went over to this serial killer. Where?
In Africa.
In Africa, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Nairobi.
this serial killer in Nairobi, and I was waiting for the punchline. Yeah. And I said, okay, serial killer, punchline. What cereal was it? Rice Krispies. He's like, looked at me like I was just stupid. And he said, no, it's a serial killer. He killed 38.
No, 42.
42 women. And I'm just like, oh.
That's like, that's not very funny. I don't
I
get
shouldn't
it.
be laughing at that.
I get that I interjected literally in the middle of you coming up with a joke. That was my bad. Yeah, but dude, did you actually hear about this?
Not until you brought it up in our pregame here. And, the thing that really shocks me is that this isn't over years. This is since 2022.
Yeah. This guy...
40-some women.
Yeah.
This guy...
There's this... Okay, so for the listeners who want to know what I'm talking about, right? There was a gentleman named Collins Jumasi. I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing that right. But apparently Collins was arrested after they found 9 bodies in a quarry near his house, right? And when they brought him in for questioning, after 2 hours of an interrogation, the dude just immediately said, all right, fine, you got me. I've killed 42 women, including my wife, since 2022. And they're like, wait, are you
Wow.
Yeah. They're like, are you being for real? And he's like, yeah, I just killed somebody on July the 11th.
11th.
So, if you're doing the math, this dude has killed 2 to 3 women every month for the last 2 years, apparently.
That's heartbreaking, but that's also just nauseating.
Is that not absolutely freaking crazy? Apparently, and this is where it gets a little gross. Apparently, when they went into his home, they were like, okay, let's see if this guy's actually crazy or if there's some substantiating evidence around this stuff. They go into his house. They found 30 random cell phones that did not belong to him. Okay. That's not really that weird. But then
That's weird to me.
he also had multiple ID cards, like their versions of like driver's licenses and stuff in Africa. A machete that was caked in blood, industrial rubber gloves, rolls of sellotape, and a bunch of like nylon rope in his house. And I am just really just finding this insane. Apparently, some of the local residents, when they like were interviewed by the news and the AP and everything like that, they apparently said that there was a lot of abductions of young protesters by security forces during like recent street demonstrations in Nairobi. It's a little politically tumultuous, isn't it, everywhere?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a theory that as these people came in to Nairobi to protest, this guy would act like he was part of their cause or whatever, invite them back to his house, and then murder them. Yeah, 42 women. That is just nuts.
That's astounding.
Yeah, and the fact, the way that the chief of police said it, he said that in every definition, this gentleman is a psychopath, and that he has never met anybody like this in his life.
I can agree with that. Okay, we got to talk about something.
It was creepy.
Yeah.
Speaking
Thank
of creepy,
you for that transition there.
Creepy Con.
Speaking of creepy, Creepy Con comes up this weekend.
By the time you guys are listening to this episode, we will have already done it.
Yeah, by the time this episode's released. Our next episode is going to be all about Creepy Con.
I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I am too. I can't wait. It's something that Jacob and I look forward to all year.
It's like Christmas to
It
me.
is. It is. CreepyCon's happening at the Knoxville Convention Center on the World's Fair Park. It'll take place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which will be August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. You can go to creepycon.com to find the schedule, but we'll be there.
By the time they listen to this,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Yeah, sorry about that. But we'll be vending there. We hope that we get to see you all. We've talked about it in the past 4 episodes,
Yeah.
I think. But we hope that you all come by. We'll be having free stuff. And maybe we'll be recording you while you're coming by to see us. And we'll be able to include you, our wonderful family of listeners, on the next episode.
I just want to say, too, CreepyCon, for me, I think was, like, the turning point in my, like, kind of, like, phasmophobia and, like, my fear of all this stuff. I remember when we first talked about going to CreepyCon, you remember how nervous I was? Because I thought people were going to be, like,
Jump scaring
me and shit. I thought it was going to be, like, a haunted house where people were selling, like, keychains and shit. I really had no idea what to expect.
Right.
And after CreepyCon, I if you would have told me like 5 years ago, you're going to love going to these types of conventions, I would have been like, how much crack did you smoke this morning? Like, I'm never going to enjoy that. But man, I'm telling you, I have been telling all of my friends and loved ones, please come see us. Please, if you don't want to come see me, just go to CreepyCon.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
What I will say is that you have come miles.
Oh, yeah.
Miles. You're not all the way there. I would not say that you are cured from your phasmophobia by any means.
Hey, who knows? This investigation we might do.
Right?
Might do it.
Maybe one of the ghosts will possess you for a moment and
Don't say shit like that.
fix
Come
your
on, don't say
brain.
shit like that.
You all should be very proud of Jacob. I got Jacob to promise that he would walk over to the dark side
Yep.
of CreepyCon with me. We may have microphones on at that time. And he actually brought up something that I think would be very courageous of him. We were in a planning meeting. Was that? Yeah, it was yesterday.
It was yesterday, yeah.
And he said, why don't you and I go to a haunted house and wear microphones and I can strap
Like a GoPro.
a GoPro on my head and we'll walk through. And we have our talent acquisition person seeing if we can make that happen. I'm so very proud of you.
I hope that it goes better than my last haunted house experience My last haunted house experience, I went to, I don't know if I could say the name, but I went to a very popular haunted house.
You can call it out.
Oh, cool. Dead Man's Farm.
Yep.
It was in Sweetwater?
Yep.
Or Loudon, one of the two.
The Loudon.
And I got so scared at one point that I ran down what I thought was the path I was supposed to go to, which was down a hallway. And
You went out the chicken chute
yeah, that's exactly what
without
happened.
clucking like a chicken.
No, I ran. Well, I got separated from my group. We were in like a claustrophobic area, and I got separated. I ran down this hallway, and I saw a door, and I went, "Oh shit! Okay, I guess that's where I'm supposed to go." I already heard a chainsaw starting up, so I was like, "I'm getting the fuck out of here," and I fling open the door and run, and that's when I realized I had just left the side of the building. Like that was like an emergency exit. Like the alarm didn't go off.
No, it's exit so that people who are not doing well literally remember the directions, cluck like a duck, flap and cluck like a duck, and they'll take you out. And that's where they would take you out. A cast member would take you out to the outside.
What was so funny about it is that I realized, this is how brave I am. I never got credit for this.
Brave.
I realized that I'd fucked up, and I left my friends in there. So I ran back.
ASMR.
I ran back through the door, right? And when I ran back in, I ran through the hallway to get back to the path. And I scared the shit out of some other group. They thought that I was like part of the thing because I just emerged from the darkness. And I was like, "Hey, don't go down that hallway," and I just kept running.
Well, I'm going to back up to the creepy serial killer. I've always said, if you really wanted to have a scary thing happen in a haunted attraction, okay, like an actual scary thing that was still safe, you would have people in line that were acting like serial killers.
Yeah.
And nobody would know.
Gross.
And they would be part of the act.
Ugh. I think it'd be funny to have somebody dress up like a cop. This is probably wildly illegal, but have somebody dress up like a cop and then walk around with a picture. Be like, "Have you seen this guy? He just escaped from like Brushy Mountain. I know is closed, but some other prison,
The Knox County Jail.
Yeah, he was known as the East Tennessee Strangler or some bullshit like that." And I'd be like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Yeah, he has a propensity to hang around farms and cornfields." So anyway, if you guys see him, just let us know. He's not actually working here tonight.
Yep. Okay, we're going to move on to a little broader topic. Shout out to all the beautiful childless cat ladies out there.
Oh, yeah.
I love cat ladies.
I do too. I
Shout out to Sarah.
Shout out to Sarah.
Shout out to Dolly Parton.
I'm kind of like a crazy cat lady now. I've got a cat. Kind of. Thomas, that huge gray tabby. So that's fun.
That's fun.
You know what? I share that in common with other childless cat ladies, like our patron saint of the South, Dolly Parton. She's a childless cat lady, last I checked. So, I mean, if she is like the litmus test, the standard for childless cat ladies, I think they're doing pretty damn good.
They're doing pretty damn good. The thing that, and that was, a reference when it was said to Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Kamala Harris is not childless.
Yeah, she's got a stepdaughter.
She's got a couple.
She does? Yeah. Hey, it's just another dumbass attack on her.
It's just
honestly.
a jab. Nobody believes that stuff.
By the way, speaking of Dolly Parton, did you see what the fuck happened the other day?
Oh,
in
about
Dollywood?
the floods? Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, for our listeners, look this up, man. There was like a flash flood. I messaged you that day. I was like, dude, there's so much rain. Be careful. I didn't know you guys had already made it back from South Carolina. But, dude, I got into work the next day, and people were like, did you see what happened to Dollywood? I had no idea. Looked it up. Man, I'm telling you, it was like
bad.
waist deep of flooding. And, from what I read, everybody's safe and okay, so I feel comfortable saying this. But whoever was on the log ride or the River Rapids ride at that moment probably thought, damn, we picked a really good time.
Good day to do that. It always, when you were saying be careful, my fear is always our back parking lot. at the school.
Oh, yeah.
Because if we don't go out and take the drain plug out,
Oh, man.
we could have 3 foot of water back there up past the bottoms of the cars.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
When I was a student years ago, that happened. And I was like,
God, you know what? You're really, really old.
I am. I'm ancient.
You've been around me for a long time, and that makes you really old.
Hopefully.
In fact, no, we're not getting away with this.
Oh, God.
In fact, this coming Friday,
Yep.
our wonderful Frady Cat's birthday, August 2nd.
Yep.
We got lots planned for you.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Yeah, I think at this point in my life, I think I can start qualifying for Social Security. If that couch fucker doesn't take it away.
Oh,
You know
the
what I'm
couch
talking
humper,
about?
the J.D. Vance, the couch humper. Now we know that was all made up.
Yeah.
But we've just had a field day with that. Let's see, J.D. Vance, the couch humper.
Yep.
You had one.
Yeah. JD, no glove, no love Vance.
Yeah. J.D. pushing the cushion Vance.
Oh, God.
We could go on, but we don't need to.
It's all been said.
Yeah. On the complete opposite side of that, did you see about Biden's proposed major reforms to the Supreme Court?
Dude, is that not awesome? Oh, my God.
Yes.
So I think there was like 3 major proposals.
Three points to it, yeah.
The first one that I think is way overdue and should have been a thing already was the term limits.
Yep.
Did you read about that?
Yep. Going from a lifetime down to 18 years, I believe.
Yeah. I think that's
fair.
that's really fair.
I mean, if everybody's complaining about the age of presidential candidates,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why not Supreme Court justices,
Yep.
right? The other one that I really like is the constitutional amendment. I think he's going to title it "No One Is Above the Law" or
Yep.
something like that.
Yeah. And then the third one is a binding ethics code, which why don't they have that already?
That's exactly when I read the proposal.
why?
I'm like, this isn't a thing.
This isn't already a thing.
They don't have to disclose who they get gifts and donations from.
They have to as government employees, I think, but not as members of the Supreme Court, which I think is stupid.
Yeah. Clarence Thomas has gotten like private yacht rides and an RV or something
Yep.
like that.
Yep. So I think that's a good thing. I think that anyone who opposes that has a real problem.
Yeah, there's
Like,
something nefarious.
There's something nefarious. If you are against the reforms that are being proposed, you have a problem.
Yeah. I would love if there's somebody that actually disagrees with our sentiment on that. I just want to hear your point of view. There has to be something that is convincing you that this is a negative thing, and I don't know what that could possibly be.
They could go to the brew and online and
Yeah.
give us the information. We'll talk about that in a little while, though.
Yeah. Anyway, dude, Olympics in full swing.
Oh, my God. Let me just tell you, while we were in South Carolina, the opening happened, right?
Yeah, the ceremony.
Opening ceremony. And we were there with Jared's grandparents, and we watched the opening ceremony. I'm going to be honest. It was the first time I got to see the whole thing.
Oh, from start to finish?
From start to finish. And it was beautiful. I don't care if you thought it was drag queens reenacting Dionysus or drag queens reenacting the Last Supper. Who gives a fuck?
I don't.
They're worried about a painting,
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense to me. Regardless, Da Vinci, rumors that he was gay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I never heard that. Why not?
Why not?
Does that make him any less impactful?
No. And here's the thing I'll say about it. As a believer in Christ, I'm ashamed and I'm embarrassed that the people of the United States that call themselves Christians would be concerned about that.
Yeah, it was a very weird thing.
It's a very weird thing for somebody to be upset about.
Like, it was a tribute to Greek mythology.
Yeah.
Right?
And Yeah. And so I just think it's weird.
It is really weird.
And it's kind of pissing me off.
Well, maybe this will kind of lighten it a little bit. So one thing I find really ironic that's happened in the Olympics so far, with a nation like America that is so obsessed with guns, we didn't win anything in the shooting competitions.
I have something I could say about that, but I'm going to be respectful about school shootings because kids don't ask for that.
No,
They
they
have
don't.
any way to protect themselves.
No.
And, I will say something about that. I think that any person that has a kid in school that is not for minimal gun reform, we're not asking to have the Second Amendment repealed or anything like that, or changed even.
Hell, I even own guns.
Yeah. But if you don't want your kids protected, something's wrong with you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the answer is not more guns.
No.
The answer is not putting guns in the hands of teachers.
I think, too, one thing that's sad, it's not even just your own kids, because I've met some people that are like, yeah, I homeschool my kids, so I don't have to worry about gun violence. Do you not care about other kids?
I care about all the kids.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what a weird
I care about
stance
all
to
the
take.
teachers.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it's ridiculous that we have to have this whole,
Back and forth
about it. Nobody, get this, nobody is trying to take your guns away.
Yeah.
They are trying to have guns in the hands of people who are safe to own guns. You don't give cars to people who can't drive.
I know. I just, no, I'm preaching to the choir.
You don't let 14-year-olds drive. They used to, but we don't
Really?
let 14-year-olds drive anymore because we found out that was a bad idea.
When did you start driving? Did you start driving at 16, like right when you turned 16?
My dad let us drive a car in the yard. We had a big yard.
Yeah.
And he would let us drive around the yard when we were 14 to practice.
Yeah.
And 15. And then when we turned 15 and a half, he started driving lessons with us.
Oh,
Where
like
he would be-
legit in the car with you.
Taking us to a parking lot in the car, telling us things that like the drive instructors would do, like back up, parallel park, stuff like that. Still hate parallel parking.
Oh, dude. Go to San Francisco.
Oh, God.
Jesus. What are the Olympic medal counts right now, by the way?
I don't know.
Let me look that up.
I know we got one in diving.
Yeah. Hey, the first Filipino American won a gold medal in
yeah.
fencing,
Yep.
which I thought was super, super cool.
Thought that was good. The 400-meter relay men's, the men won first place. Snoop Dogg was in the audience.
Holy. Oh, man, I just looked it up. Damn, son. So right now, Japan has the most gold medals.
How many do they have?
They have 7.
7 gold medals.
China is second at 6.
6.
France, the host country, has 5. The U.S., we only have 3. But in total, we're winning in the medal count. We have 21 medals.
Oh, okay.
8 silver, 10 bronze.
Okay. Yeah, the women's 400-meter, U.S. won that. Or not. The U.S. didn't win that. They came in silver, second place. They did phenomenal.
And just shout out to Ukraine. They have 1 bronze medal, which makes them 1 medal higher than Russia. Oh, wait, Russia's not in the Olympics this year.
Right. Their
Womp womp.
athletes are having to pay to be there themselves. Russia couldn't sponsor them and wouldn't sponsor them. So they have independent sponsors.
Yeah, they're part of the, what is it? There's a team that athletes that are from banned countries or countries that are in a state of war, they can't send an Olympic team, so they go under one banner. I forget what it's called, All Nations or
All
something
Nations
like that.
Or something, yeah.
Well, hey there, family. I'm Lena Perkins, the voice of Aunt Ruby B here at the Ravensvale podcast. At Ravensvale, we love telling you our story. That's why I'm excited to tell you about the Appalachian Horror Fest 2024. Appalachian Horror Fest 2024 is an evening of music and storytelling themed around the macabre. The event will take place on Saturday, October 12th, 2024 at Central Cinema in Knoxville, Tennessee from 5:30 until 9:30 p.m. Our hauntingly talented musicians will serenade you with eerie tunes that echo through the misty Appalachian foothills. Gather round as our master storytellers weave their blood-curdling tales. Legends of restless spirits, vengeful ghosts, and ancient curses will dance in your imagination. Tickets are on sale now at AppalachianHorrorFest.com/tickets. Oh, storytellers, if your words can raise goosebumps and summon sleeping spirits, step into the spotlight. Submit your spine-chilling tale at AppalachianHorrorFest.com/storytellers. Appalachian Horror Festival, where nightmares come to life. We hope to see you there.
So, Jacob, I'm sure you've been watching the judo competitions.
It's been incredible. It's been so fun to watch. I personally believe that the women's matches are some of the most intense and fun. The men's judo matches, I say this as somebody who has never competed at that level, but the men's, they're really, you can tell that they're gun shy, so they're being very conservative with the way that they're trying to go for their ippons and throws. The women, they're like, fucking, hold my earrings. I'm gonna fucking throw this bitch.
Hold my pumps.
Dude, there are crazy matches going on right now. And I think there's a couple of other important landmarks that happened for judo. Azerbaijan won their very first gold Olympic medal ever in their country's history, and it was in judo at the 70-kilogram men's final, which was so fun to watch.
I think the men have to hold back because they're afraid that they'll get called out,
What do you mean?
like tagged out or whatever that's called.
Oh, yeah, get thrown or something
Yeah.
like that. Well, the women never got the memo. They are throwing each other like carpets out there. It's insane. If anybody is really interested in watching some matches, I think the most important one that you can probably watch, there was a 66-kilogram men's final. I'll spare the details and the minutia, but in judo, if nobody scores any points after the end of regulation, it goes into overtime, what they call golden score. And these two sons of bitches went out there, man, and they're bleeding. They are barely able to stand because their overtime went 5 minutes and 26 seconds after regulation, which doesn't sound like a lot, but anybody that's listening, if you have fought in a sport or competitively, like wrestling or something like that, that is an eternity. And I believe I want to say the guy from Kosovo, or it may have been Morocco, ended up beating the Frenchman, which was so freaking exciting. Oh my God.
That's all in your world, man.
Dude,
I mean, I know you
and you know,
throw
Teddy,
down, but
the last, one of the final people that carried the torch with the woman, I'm so sorry that I'm blanking on her name.
The giant,
Yeah, Teddy Raniere from France.
so tall.
He's considered like the LeBron James of judo. He was the one that lit the torch this year. He's not actually competing, but
Yeah.
holy crap, dude.
Did you see in the opening of the Olympics, the 100-year-old, the oldest Olympian?
Yeah,
in
the
wheelchair?
cyclist
Yeah,
guy.
he was a cyclist, yeah.
Man, I'm just saying, too, I did see that. Those Olympic torches do not look like they're light. You know
No.
what I mean? Like in weight. And at 100 years old, that dude with one hand was able to hold that thing.
Yep. I loved watching the hot air balloon take the cauldron up.
Oh, yeah.
Notice the cauldron.
Shout
We
out,
were there.
Cauldron. Yeah. We really appreciate the Olympic Committee for referencing our podcasts. We appreciate it.
Not a sponsor.
I think my favorite Olympic torch lighting, was it the one in Athens? Yeah, there was one in Athens where they brought the Olympic torch up to a gold medalist archer,
And they fired a
and then they lit his arrow, and then he launched it into the cauldron, which I thought was so freaking cool.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, we are going to chat a little bit about something that we're going to do a bigger episode on in the future. That topic is mental health.
Oh, yeah.
The first thing I want to say is that we all of us, have a desire to be respectful about these situations. We also have a desire to encourage people who are having mental health issues to seek help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And one of the things that I want to say is that I feel compassion for people who are going through mental health crisis. Okay, I think that's the best way I could say that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel too much compassion. Okay, where I might not be the best person to help because I could very well like enable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any problem saying it. I go to a therapist once or twice a month, have for years, and I can tell you that it's made me a more adjusted human being. One thing that my therapist has specifically said too when it comes to interacting with people that are struggling with like mental health issues and stuff like that, it doesn't care about your age, your socioeconomic status,
Absolutely.
gender expression. It doesn't matter. But I think you really nailed something on the head that sometimes the hardest thing about supporting somebody with a mental health crisis or a struggle of some sort is admitting that you aren't equipped enough to deal with it.
Absolutely. I bring all this up because we're writing a bunch of policies at the school about mental health and how we can help, especially from our trauma-informed paradigm. But, I've had mental health worker, whether it be a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or a social worker that I've seen most of my adult life. It goes back to some violence that I experienced, where I was the victim of violence. And the thing that has always stuck with me through all of that counseling is that every therapist I saw told me that it was my responsibility. Because when I first started going to therapy, I wanted to play the blame game. I was trying to make everybody else responsible for my mental health.
Yeah.
Okay. I say that today. That's not how I saw it back then. And I wanted to play the victim.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. I mean, like it was bad at one point. And you've heard some of these stories.
Yeah.
And what I found through therapy is that the person who hurt me did that thing, and they're responsible for their actions. But I'm responsible for healing from those actions.
Bingo.
It doesn't help me to hold it against the person. I can hate them. I can be oblivious to them. I can cut them out of my life, which I did, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm the one who's responsible for my mental health. Okay. And nobody else.
Yeah. That's what I just want to shout out the students in that class that I teach on Friday. And it's, I've talked about it before. It's a self-defense class for LGBTQIA plus individuals. And, they're just like every other demographic of people. They have their own mental health struggles. If not, it's a little exacerbated by the current political climate. But I love that these people come in, they feel like victims. They've told themselves that they are weak, that they, in some capacity, deserved whatever happened to them. And just in the last couple of months, the transformation I'm seeing of these people that are gaining that agency back and deciding that they are not going to be on the back foot anymore, that they're going to, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just so proud of them, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, once I established a belief that my mental health was my responsibility, right? I also had to adopt into my world that I had to process the stuff. It was me. I had to do it, and I had to go to therapy to do it. But more than that, I could no longer sit in it. I couldn't accept. I had to know what I wanted, obviously. And knowing what I wanted was, what kind of person do I want to be? Do I want to be somebody who goes home every day and hides in my room in the dark and doesn't socialize with anybody and never does anything? Or do I want to be somebody who's constantly and tirelessly working on my mental health,
Yeah.
and that's the person I chose to be. And I think that it's up to every single person who has mental health issues, which I think we all do.
Okay.
I don't think that there's anyone who doesn't suffer from some type of mental health issue. But, you and I have talked pretty extensively because we have people around us who have mental health issues, and that often we get to walk with them during mental health crisis.
Oh, yeah.
And so the part of that responsibility of walking with somebody is not enabling them.
No. You can hold their hand, but
Right.
don't drag them.
Right.
They
need to lead the healing.
Oh, God, yeah.
So, but that's kind of a little peek at something we're going to be talking about in next season's
Episode.
Can you believe we're
catalog.
coming up on next season's catalog?
Dude, I can't already believe, one, that I'm getting older, too, and
No, you are old.
I am old, yeah. I'm waiting to find the gray hair in my beard. I'm waiting. I look every day when I'm shaving. I'm like, when's it coming?
See these right here?
Yeah, but you look dignified. You look like an elder statesman with the gray. I'm just gonna look like I don't know what I'm gonna look like. I just know too. By the way, people have always asked me, people that knew me growing up and everything, because I always used to have real short hair, and then I started growing it all out at the beginning of the pandemic, and
Me too.
they were like, Jacob, what's with the change? Why do you have all this long hair? I just want the fucking proof that I was able to grow it all, because every man on both sides of my family has lost their hair. And I mean dramatically lost their hair.
Look,
And it'll probably start after Friday.
no, it'll start next year.
It'll start next year.
Next
Oh,
year.
yeah. The big 3-0.
The big 3-0. I don't think I'll ever have to worry about not having hair.
Right.
But I've also, if you remember back to picture day where you got the comb tangled in your hair,
Oh, my God.
your hair is so thick. I don't think you're ever going to have to worry about that. So I got something.
What do you got?
Are you ready for your would you rather question?
Yeah, dude.
Because I got a good one for you.
Dude, totally. Let's do it.
Okay. Would you rather have a body that is always in perfect shape, but you can't eat your favorite food, or be able to eat anything you want, but have to work out every day to stay in shape? Now, before you answer, we're going to take cheese off the table because you already can't eat your favorite food.
I know.
Okay. And you're in pretty good shape.
I'm in pretty good. I think
I don't know if you'd be in the same shape if you could eat the ice cream,
No. Cheesecake and
cheesecake.
everything. I think I'll pick the latter one
Okay.
because I already work out every day. And lactate is enabling me to make bad decisions and eat cheese, which, by the way, I think there's some cheese on that sub.
Well, since you said that, I'm going to just throw in this little ditty just for you.
Okay.
Private inside joke. Don't go to Weigel's and get a milkshake.
Fuck you. We'll have to tell that story one of these days.
Yep.
Jeez. All right, I got one for you.
Okay.
Would you rather
Yes.
have the ability to resolve conflicts effortlessly, or the ability to motivate your team effortlessly?
I love the thought of being able to simplify conflict and controversy down to like its base level, to where people would just see that there's no reason for it.
Yeah.
You know? I love that concept. That would be wonderful. I also always want to be able to motivate my team. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's the school team or the podcast team.
Yeah.
But God, does that mean that I couldn't motivate a team, or I just have to work at it? Because I don't mind working.
I think that whatever effort you would have to use to motivate the team, cut it into like a quarter of the effort.
Okay. So I'm going to choose resolve conflict effortlessly.
Yeah.
Because that's the hardest thing to do when people can't see why they're having conflict.
And I think if you're really good at conflict resolution, that will motivate your team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Well, okay. Do you want some dad jokes? Come on.
Well, one.
All right. So
I can handle one today.
That's fine. So
I mean, you piled them on last week.
you would be happy to know that this joke comes directly from our executive producer and your own husband, Jared.
Oh, God.
This one-
Okay.
Okay. What do you call a young sheep wrapped in plastic? Oh, you already know that? Yes.
Go ahead.
So what do you call a young sheep wrapped in plastic, Ed?
Laminated. Okay, so here's the whole situation with that.
I knew you were going to recognize it.
So last night, I'm surprised you got this that fast, but last night, we were laying in bed and we were watching TikTok, and
Jared and you were laying in bed. I was not there.
that's right, you had already
The way
gone
you
home.
worded that.
You'd already gone home. Not just joking. Yes, Jared and I were laying in bed and we were watching TikTok. Jared's mom's in visiting this week, and so we'd gone to bed and we were just like winding down, and all of a sudden there's this like music, that kind of thing I just played for you, and he lost it for about 15 minutes. He cackled, he horse laughed, he wheezed, he lost his breath, and I'm just going to tell you, I love when he laughs like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
it's like that.
It's infectious.
Primal laugh.
Right. And then he showed it to me and I laughed, and, you know, the shoulder hurts, but so I was kind of, woo, it was something. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem, It.
Okay, family, we have a couple things from the brew today. In this weird and wild corner of our show, this new segment, we invite you to stir up a magical concoction of questions and stories. It's a space where curiosity meets the supernatural, and every dip into our cauldron reveals a new tale or question submitted by you, our listeners. Whether you seek guidance on life's twists and turns, which is what we got today, Jacob,
Okay.
or unraveling the rich tapestry of Appalachian folklore, or sharing your own spine-chilling experience, the brew is your gateway to the unknown. Join us as we journey into the shadows and shed light on the secrets that lie within. We have 2 items from the cauldron today, Jacob.
Let's hear him.
First one, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Was that a movie?
It was. All tomatoes are killer tomatoes.
Yeah, for you
Yes.
in particular. You're like violently allergic
To them. This brewcast comes from hashtag Renee1994, 1994. You ready?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Hey, Ed and Jacob. I have a question that's been haunting me for a while.
Nice.
If a ghost could possess a plant, what kind of plant would it choose and why?
If a ghost could possess a plant, any plant,
Yeah.
I would go. What is the name of that? There's a flower of some sort that once it dies, its petals look like skulls. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. I just don't know the name of it.
Watch it have like
Let me Google that.
a real boring name like Skull Lily or something. Skull Lily. That sounds like a fun band name too. I would go with one of those.
I don't know. Okay, here we go. The Darth Vader orchid.
Is that really what it's called?
It ranks among the eeriest flowers that look like skulls.
No, I was talking about this one, the Snapdragon.
Oh yeah, that's really creepy.
Yeah, look this up if you guys have ever seen it. The Snapdragon, when it dies, the seed pods on it look like really shrunken brown
Actually,
skulls.
it does. I'm looking at a bunch of them right now. Ooh, some of them are just really gross.
I knew a close friend of mine. They have,
That was really gross.
you know, well, she was nasty. But she had tattooed on her leg this exact plant.
Oh,
That's what I thought. It's a toss up for me between the Snapdragon being possessed by a ghost or one of those flowers that bloom at night.
Cirrus Brights.
Yes,
Yeah.
those things. What would you pick? A tomato plant?
Well, yeah, that would be a good one. No, it would probably come after me. My choice would probably be. Well, first of all, let me answer the question. No, I don't think a plant can get possessed. I think that, or no, I don't think a ghost could possess a plant. That's the best way to answer this.
Explain Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors.
It was a living organism. I think that the ghost might be able to manipulate the plant, but it would not be able to possess the plant.
I see what you mean.
Okay, and so I'm going to say a death lily.
What is a death lily?
Well, let me Google it for you.
Is that like does it kill you? Is it like nightshade or something?
No,
Oh, okay.
they're red. They're like spiders.
Gross.
They're also called. Well, you'll have to just come around here.
Yeah.
There's a black calla lily, which is also called a death lily.
Oh, they're actually really pretty.
Yep, they're really pretty. But I think if anything was going to get possessed, it would be those, because they look like they could just. The spider lily looks like it just. Yeah.
Yeah. No. All right. That was a good answer.
Okay, the next one is more advice, I think. This one we've entitled Study Buddy. My boyfriend cheated on me with a classmate, but I decided to give him a second chance. He lives with me, and I cover most of the bills since he's still in school.
Okay.
He spends a lot of time with his study group, which I understand, but the person he cheated with is also in the study group. The group usually ends around 10 p.m., but recently he's been coming home later and later. I suspect he might still be seeing this person. What should I do? Hashtag Cotton Candy Randy.
Cotton Candy Randy. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, bro. I'm gonna keep it 100%. That's pretty sus.
It's shady.
That is very. I mean, there's kind of like a twofold thing you can do on this one, and just from my personal experience. You can either confront them about it, or you could bring them some snacks at 10 o'clock.
Be shady about it yourself.
Yeah, just be like, oh, I thought it would. Wait, why is it just you two?
Yeah. I doubt they're there.
I doubt that they're there, too.
So, from what this looks like, it's an ongoing study group, right? So I have no doubt that the study group is meeting.
Probably.
I think that one of two scenarios is actually happening. Because my escapades into higher education tells me a little bit about study groups. I had study groups that as I got into higher level classes, we did have to study later. Mm-hmm. So that's a potential.
Yeah, especially in like midterms and finals.
Yeah, we did have to study later. So I can see that this group might be in some classes where they have to study later. But I will also say, not having any information about what the major is or anything like that, it's hard for me to think that this study group goes past 10 o'clock. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah,
it could happen. I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, but come on. No amount of studying is so fun that you're like, guys, let's keep burning the midnight oil. Why do we have to stop at 10?
If it's necessary, like if they had said that they were in med school, I could understand that.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
But what I think, and I'm trying to tread lightly into giving advice without thinking it through. I think I would confront them. I think I have the exact same thoughts you would. I think that I would confront the person, the partner. I would not have a problem going to where the study group is.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
But I have a question on this question.
Okay.
To see what you think about this. It's always been my personal ethics, and I consider myself to have integrity. Okay. I find it very unnerving that they stayed in the study group with a person they cheated with.
Yeah.
You know?
If I had to give a guess as to what's happening, this is just my honest gut feeling. I do believe that if there is a study group, I do believe that they're studying. And then when the study group concludes at 10 o'clock, they're still hanging out.
Yeah.
The two people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's what I think too, given the information that we have. What would I do? I would be very transparent and honest. I'm going to just wrap this up on my side. I'd be very transparent and honest. I would say, I have concerns because of your past behavior that this is still occurring.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I don't want to accuse you of anything, but I need some reassurance.
Yeah,
Okay?
I think that's fair.
I would also go over to wherever they're at when they're not expecting it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. If I showed up
Because
at
I
like,
would want to prove to myself that I didn't have anything to worry about.
if I showed up at like 10:15 or 10:30 after the study group is supposed to conclude,
Yep.
and it's just them two sitting there, that'll give you the answer.
That's the answer there.
You know, man, I gotta admit that made me more uncomfortable and unsettled than some of the ghost things that we've talked about. Some things, sometimes the living can be scarier than the dead, right?
The dead, yep.
Jesus. As we wrap up today's episode, we would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to all of our listeners for their unwavering support. We hope you enjoyed our new segment, The Brew, and we want to hear from you. So we've made it easy for you to join in the fun. Head on over to ravensvail.com, click on the social media tab in the menu bar, and select The Brew. Ed showed this to me. It's actually really, really cool. You guys should check it out. We invite you to stir up some excitement by submitting your questions, jokes, and spooky stories to be featured on the show. We love hearing from you and want to incorporate your submissions into our upcoming episodes. Whether you have a burning question about life or the paranormal, spooky story to share, or a clever dad joke, and we love dad jokes, this is your chance to add your special touch to the cauldron.
Now, family, you adults have a few chores to do. Go on over to ravensvail.com and see about doing your chores on social media. Follow us on all the social media platforms that we've made available just for you folks. Like, listen, subscribe, and follow wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you don't mind, please leave us a good rating and a kind comment. You can find the Ravensvail Cauldron Podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Just search for Ravensvail Cauldron Podcast and make sure you hit the follow button to stay up to date with our latest episodes.
And family, don't forget to tell your friends about us, won't you?
So until next time, family, see you soon.
The Ravensvail Cauldron is a production of Small Raven Media. Today's episode was hosted by Ed Bolden Greer with co-host Jacob A. Garner. Audio engineering and sound design by Nick Devan at Nicky D Sound. Copyrighted 2024, Small Raven Media. All rights reserved.